Hello and welcome to this Blender tutorial brought to you by the Lewis Art. My name is Manuel Lucafo, and today we'll be creating a very satisfying animation inside Blender. So basically we'll be creating a nice domino effect using Blender. So I'm going to show you a very simple and streamlined method of achieving this in just a few seconds. So let's get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a simple plane. This plane will serve as our ground floor. Okay, and then let's add a simple cube. We'll just scale it to look like a domino. Like that's a single one. Okay, so we want to have this duplicated a couple of times so that we can create the effect. So for that we'll add an array modifier. Okay, and we'll set this to 0. We want it to be set in the y-axis, so this is what we have. Set this to 4 so we can increase the count as much as you want. Stick with this tutorial. I'm going to show you how to have this like curved and bent. So we'll just do the straight one to just kind of get how it works, and once we blend, we can go on to the next more complex stage. Okay, so once you have this, I'm just going to shift hide everything. So once you have this, you can go ahead and apply the array modifier and jump into edit mode and hit P and select by loose part. So once you do this, you should have each of this instance as a single object. Next, we want to select everything and go to the object and set origin to geometry. So this is what we have now, and we can so right now if you see, if I edit this, you can see it doesn't apply to the rest of the geometry. The reason why I want it to apply is so that if it's more an instance of this object, it saves memory. It's more nice to work with because you can just make one change and it replicates to the rest. So to do that, I'm going to select everything and shift select this one, so holding down shift, and I'm going to press Ctrl L. So I'm going to link the object data. So what this allows me to do, if I've created instance of all the cubes in the scene. Okay, so now for the cool part, I am going to select everything and go to object, rigid body, and add active. Now I'm going to unhide this plane, and same thing, rigid body, add passive. If I play this animation, it goes down. So let's apply the rotation and scale. So it's always important when working with simulation in Blender, you do this. So I'm going to go to apply rotation and scale. So probably we'll scale this down slightly. For some reason it's not working. Okay, I didn't apply the rigid body yet. So let's set this to passive, and then if I play it, you can see the cubes just rest on the plane. So that's what we want. And finally, let's go ahead and create a simple animation to trigger the motion. And for that, I'm going to add a simple UV sphere or any object to do. Okay, so I'm going to insert a keyframe here. Just scale this down. And in this, on the 17th keyframe, I'm just going to move this to kind of hit this a bit. Okay, so this is what we have. Awesome. So for the final step, you want to go to rigid body, set this to animated, so it's active, and I checked on animated. So now if we play this, you can see it starts. So one thing you will notice is that once it gets to frame 250, it stops. So if I increase this to like 1000 frames, you will notice once it gets to frame 250, it just stops and stops simulating. So to take care of that, what you want to do is go to the world tab, and under rigid body, you want to go to cache and set this to the amount of frames you want it to simulate for. You can actually go ahead and bake this, but the physics system is pretty fast, so no need to bake it. So we'll just see the animation play. So this is basically it. I'm going to show you, we can create like a more advanced one where it looks more cool and not just a straight line. So that's how you create a nice domino effect. So let's do one more. Okay, and now we can add a cube, scale it up slightly, and just scale it to match the domino effect. So we'll do origin to origin to geometry. Okay, and let's set an array modifier. So we set it y4 and x0. Now we need this object to copy the movement of the curve. So I'm going to select this object, shift select the curve, and do Ctrl C to copy the location, copy the rotation and scale. And so if you don't have this menu, you want to go to your user preference and search for copy attributes. So once you have that, you're good to go. So we can now select this and Ctrl P, curve deform. So you just choose the correct axis. Let's see.